I would actually like to give you, share with you a couple of strategies today. So let me help you, let me share our strategy for vocabulary in context questions. So this is actually the most simple question type on the SAT reading section, and they always appear with a line number reference. So you will know which line you have to read from the passage to answer this question. So the way the question works is, you are required to study the word in the given context and then find an equivalent word for it. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to find a synonym for this word. You have to find that which word among the answer choices, when substituted in place of this word, will still give the same meaning as intended by the author. Okay, so the strategy that we advise for vocabulary in context questions is just read in the neighborhood of the line number that's given to you, the line number where the word is. So you read the sentence before and after, or if it's a long sentence, maybe just that one sentence. Then you omit this word from its current position. So you mentally blank it out, right? Or you can kind of strike it out on the paper with a pencil if you wish. Having omitted this word and having read the sentence and gotten the context, you have to come up with a word of your own for the blank. You have to anticipate the word. In other words, do not look at the answer choices yet, okay? You will have to anticipate and come up with your own words. It could be a phrase, it could be a single word. Come up with your own word for the blank, and only then look at the answer choices to eliminate the options which don't match the word that you had anticipated, okay? I hope these steps are clear. You read around the context of the word, then you omit the word from its current position, and then you anticipate what word could best fit in this blank without looking at the answer choices. And then using what you have, the word or phrase you've come up with, then you start comparing the answer choices to rule them out. And finally, there will be one left, which will be the correct answer. Make sense? All right. So a nice acronym is ROAR, R-O-A-R, and that is a strategy that we will apply in this question. So if you look at this passage here, the blurb on top says that this passage is adapted from an article published in the Environment News section of Brown University's official website. Nice. But if you notice, I have actually left out the first 40 lines or more of the passage, okay? And the only reason I've done that, well, one is for brevity, because today we don't have that much time. But more importantly, I've done that because I wanted to show you how you can answer a vocabulary in context question without necessarily reading the entire passage. Okay. Again, like I said before, if you're the kind who loves reading the entire passage from the beginning, it helps you get the whole thing better, that's fine. But in this case, I just want to show you how you can do it by just reading the context. Okay. So let's read the question first. As used in line 53, persistent most nearly means what? Okay, I said most nearly means what? I do not want you to actually read any of this. Please do not read the answer choices at this stage. Remember, we're going to follow the strategy. We're going to go to the passage. We're going to go to line 53, near it, and we're going to follow the steps of ROAR. So let's do that. Okay. So line 53, let's read what's happening there. Again, a little before it, so you get the context, right? This monitoring provided a long and continuous data set for the researchers to study. Okay, I've highlighted this portion here so you can see where I'm reading. In particular, the team was interested in data from seismic sensors located near the volcano's crater. Those sensors pick up volcanic tremor, a low-level seismic rumble that provides a persistent signal of activity within a volcanic system. So I hope you got an idea of the context. There are no difficult words or high vocabulary words here, right? So let's now follow the steps. So we've read this part, okay? And again, I want to stress that you should not start reading these and say, hey, which of these months means persistent? Because it might happen that many of them mean persistent, right? Repetitive does mean persistent, right? Someone, if they're very persistent in asking to borrow money from you, then they're going to repeatedly ask you, right? That means they're persistent. Okay, steady definitely means persistent, right? That's true. Frequent, yes, something frequent can also be persistent over time. Lasting means it lasts for a long time. A lasting friendship, persistent courtship. So yeah, it is lasting. So all of these, now you will get confused. All of them sound a lot like persistent, and that is why we tell you to not read the answer choices until you have done the step of anticipating the answer choice. So let's actually do that. Okay. So step 2 is we will omit the word. Okay. We will just put a blank where you can see that in place of persistent, we've put a little blank here. And we're now going to come up with our own word or phrase. And that will be the anticipate step. Okay. So let's read what's happening. So these sensors, okay, which are located near the volcano's crater, these sensors pick up volcanic tremor, a low-level seismic rumble that provides a blank signal of activity within a volcanic system. And remember, the previous line says this monitoring provided a long and continuous data set for the researchers to study. So you must have continuous activity, right? The signal has to, you have to pick up some activity continuously. So a good word that you want to plug in there could be continuous. Or maybe you came up with constant, right? Or something that's always happening, right? So let's go with continuous. If any of you if you faced a difficulty coming to this conclusion, then I would be happy to clarify it towards the end of this session. Okay, so or we can even discuss after the question. So I hope you can see why continuous is fits in well with this blank right here, because now when you read it back, the sensors pick up volcanic tremor, a low-level seismic rumble that provides a continuous signal of activity. Okay. Then now you're going to rule out each answer choice to see which of these is gives us the sense of continuous. Okay, so if you take a repetitive, okay, does repetitive mean continuous? Well, it doesn't mean continuous, right? I might come and ask you, something today, and then a month later or a week later, I can ask you again, right? I can keep asking you, but not all the time. So repetitive is not the same as continuous. So now you're able to see the nuance here, right? And you will find a lot of nuance when it comes to vocabulary. And we would strongly recommend that you form a good foundation for vocabulary, and I will I would actually recommend that you build your vocabulary so you can get the nuances straight. And just to give you an idea of what sources that you might have to build your vocabulary, I would, for example, here is my iPad, and on iOS or Android, whichever device you have, you could search for vocabulary, and you will notice that right in the top 10 apps is the Ultimate Vocabulary Builder. That's an app that we built at Galvanize, and this is actually the highest rated vocabulary app at 4.8 out of 5 stars. I'm not sure if you can see it very clearly, but this does a great job of building your vocabulary for 1,800 words, and it does so in a gamified, engaging manner. So if you're more at a foundational stage, then this is something that you can use to improve your vocabulary. Okay, so let's move on to the next word, which is steady. And steady definitely sounds a lot like continuous, right? Steady friendship, continuous friendship. I mean, some words will obviously suit the context better. So let's keep steady on hold, and let's make sure we rule out the other two. Frequent. Well, frequent is something that's happening very often. It's like repetitive, but at a higher frequency, right? That's why it's called frequent. So again, it is not the same as continuous. And lasting, for something to be lasting, it has to have a sense of permanence, right? A lasting friendship, and that a lasting legacy. So here we're not looking at the nature of permanence, but the fact that it's always on. There's always data coming out, and therefore we will stick to the choice B, which is steady, and that is the answer that you're looking for.